This video is a summary of the special right triangle relationships we studied previously. Be sure to copy the notes and put this in your graph paper notebook for future reference. Let's start with 30, 60, 90 degree triangles. Remember that we have a scalene right triangle with these specific angles, so let's go ahead and label the sides. Across from the 30 is the short leg. I will abbreviate that short leg, SL. 60 degrees is right across the longer leg, so LL, and of course the hypotenuse is right across the 90 degrees. So here is the relationship. If the short leg opposite the 30 degrees is N, then the long leg opposite the 60 degrees is N root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2N. Now in the previous videos I kept talking about a ratio. So what I mean by that is, if I have the short leg to the long leg, remember these dots symbolically could represent a ratio here, and that compared to the hypotenuse, the ratio is, if the short leg is 1 unit, then the long leg is root 3 times longer, and the hypotenuse is twice as long. So the relationship of 1 to root 3 to 2. Let's do some examples down below. Now, in previous videos, I told you that you can do these quickly in your head, and I want you to have that skill, especially useful when you go to Math 3 and higher levels of math. In Math 2, I want you to show your work and reasoning, especially how we were justifying. So, here's what I want to see so that you have organized work currently for this year in Math 2. Whenever you recognize a triangle that's 30, 60, 90, I want you to write down this as your justification, as we would Pythagorean theorem, alternate triangle theorem, so on and so forth. This right here is a way to organize your work that I also want to see. It's going to take you no more than 10 seconds to write all of this every single time, and this is your indicator to me, your teacher, that you recognize the relationship, you justify it, and you organize your work like this, exactly like this. Okay, so first of all, you look at the triangle and you're like, oh, I see it's a right triangle with 30 degrees. That must mean that this angle is 60 degrees. We don't need to fill it in, but it goes without saying that that would be 60 by triangle sum theorem. Okay, and if it helps, you could also label the sides. Okay, across from the 30 is the short leg. Okay, that was 60, so that we have the long leg and then our hypotenuse. You don't have to label that, but that's just there for your reference if you want to do that. Okay, so you look at the picture, and what do we recognize? Okay, we're given a short leg, which is 4 feet, excuse me. The long leg, based on that relationship, is the short leg times root 3, so 4 root 3. And the hypotenuse is twice the short leg, so we get 8. Okay, now we're almost done, but we still have to answer the question. We want to solve for x and y, so let's make sure we write that at the very end. So, x is equal to the long leg, which is 4 root 3 feet, and y is the hypotenuse, which is 8 feet. Okay, and let's go ahead and highlight those answers there. So, complete work will be to justify writing 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, set up this organized work, show some evidence with the numbers, and then answer the question at the end. Okay, second example. I've already started the work for you. So we have, what are we given? Okay, we're given the hypotenuse. Okay, so I know the hypotenuse is 24. So we want to find the short leg, which I know is across from the 30. If that's 60, this must be 30 up here. So that's the short leg. And the short leg is half of the hypotenuse, so we get 12. And the long leg is 12 root 3. Okay, and let's answer the question. So A is 12, let's see, centimeters, and B is 12 root 3 centimeters. Okay, we have the justification, we have organized work, and then we finally answered the question to solve for the variables. Okay, number 3. Alright, you can time me. How long does it take to show all this work? Okay, I'm just going to write it up here. So we got 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. My short leg is n, long leg is n root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2n. That probably took about 10 seconds, maybe 12. Okay, look at the picture. Let's record what we have. So right across from the 60 is the long leg. Okay, so I'm given the long leg, which is equal to 5 root 3. Okay, we're going to solve for the short leg. That's usually my go-to first. So we have, that's got to be 5, because the long leg is root 3 times longer, and the hypotenuse is double the short leg, which is 10. Okay, let's answer the question. So cross the 30 degrees is the short leg, so F is equal to 5 units, and G is the hypotenuse, which is 10 units. I'm going to warn you guys ahead of time. When you guys do practice with some of the worksheets I'm going to give you, sometimes I badly draw the triangle. Please don't go by because it looks like the long side or looks like the short side. Use the clues of the angles to indicate which side is longer. Okay? Don't get fooled by badly drawn triangles. Okay, the last special right triangle relationship were the 45, 45, 90 degree triangles. So this is an isosceles right triangle because 2 of the legs are congruent. So both legs are congruent. If the legs are n units, then the hypotenuse is n root 2 units. And in a previous investigation, we saw that was true by the Pythagorean theorem. So here's the ratio. The leg to the hypotenuse. If the leg is a unit, then the hypotenuse is root 2. Okay, and let's label a few things here. So we have leg, and this is our hypotenuse. Okay, let's do 3 examples here. Just like previously, you guys can quickly do this all in your head. Once again, a really good skill. In Math 2, be sure to justify and show organized work, currently for this year. Okay, so we got a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. That's our justification. In our organized work, we're going to write leg. And looking at the picture, we're given the leg is 3. So I can go ahead and label this 3. And the hypotenuse is root 2 times longer, so we have 3 root 2. Okay, let's answer the question. So C is a leg, so we have 3 inches. And the hypotenuse, letter D, is 3 root 2 inches. And we'll highlight our answers. Okay, this is complete work, justification work, and then the answer. Number 2. We know it's a special right triangle. That's a 45, 45, 90. Because I have a 90, 45. This must be 45. By the way, kind of glossed over this one. How do I know it's 45, 45, 90? Well, it's an isosceles right triangle. And based on the isosceles triangle theorem, if you have an isosceles triangle, the base angles are congruent. And if we did triangle sum theorem, those would be both 45. You don't need to justify that. You can jump straight to this. I know you might be like, Mr. Roeder, we're used to justifying every single step, and I'm like, you're right. But I'll let that go for this activity. So we're given that the the leg is root 6. Okay, and remember the hypotenuse is root 2 times longer than that. Okay, so the hypotenuse is root 2 times longer than the leg. So the leg is root 6 times root 2. So we get the square root of 12. We simplify that, you're going to get 2 root 3. Let's answer the question. So let's see, this is root 6, and that is 2 root 3. And if that seems odd to you, you're more than welcome to approximate your answer just to make sure that it makes sense. Okay, so let's see, the square root of 6 is about 2.45, and 2 square root 3 is about 3.46. Okay, and once again, there's that ratio here. If I were to take and divide 3.46 divided by 2.45, I'll show you my calculator. So I took 2 root 3, sorry, it's not really totally clear. In fact, let me put this here. So we took 2 and the square root of 3 divided by the square root of 6. We get root 2, or approximately 1.42, which is in keeping with that ratio. Okay, so the ratio of is always 1 to root 2. Okay, let's answer the question. So x is equal to root 6 units, and w is equal to 2 root 3 units. Okay, I didn't justify here, so time yourself. Hopefully it takes you about 10 seconds to write it. I'm not asking for a lot of time to justify and show your work. So we have 45, 45, 90-degree triangle. Okay, we label leg, which is n, and the hypotenuse is n root 2. Okay, we are given that the hypotenuse is 10. Now by making you show your work like this, what you have here is what I call like a mini equation. The leg times root 2 is equal to the hypotenuse. So all I got to do is solve for n. So you've built in an equation to solve for the unknown variable. So we're going to divide both sides by root 2. So n equals 10 divided by root 2. We're going to rationalize the denominator, so multiply by root 2 over root 2. So n equals 10 root 2 divided by 2. Simplify the 10 and the 2, so we get 5 root 2. So the leg is 5 root 2. So 5 root 2 and 5 root 2. Okay, answer the question. So h equals k, which equals 5 root 2 yards.